Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. We appreciate your viewership. Let's get started with our weather, brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and his hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs, and we still got a 10-degree window we've talked about for 2 weeks now, 83 to 73. And again, the wind's going to be the factor, but the temperature at the end of the period did drop 1 more degrees. It's down to 79 down. It's going from 83 down to 79 within the last week and a half. Take a look at our river reading, brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. Good folks there. Looking at Apalachicola Bunchtown, it's reading a 13.5 and it's on the rise. I mean, it's still going up, folks, so it's going to be a big flow of water coming down Apalachicola. The Choctaw Caraville, the same way. It's up there in the yellow, about to get into the up even closer to red. It's at a 12 foot this morning, and it's on the rise. So both rivers, all this rain we've been getting, you know what the results are. So high water for the week, okay? Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good strong tide today. High tide is right here in the middle of the day at 11:58. And it's going to be going out all afternoon till about 10:51 tonight. A good day to get on the water if you can find a window of good weather to get in there. And the wind, again, same way at 14 miles an hour, just like it was yesterday, but today's coming more out of the southwest rather than the west from yesterday, but 14 out of the southwest. All right, take a break. We'll be back with our special guest. Okay, welcome back, and welcome to Officer Travis Bashford. Good morning.
Good morning, as always.
Always glad to have Travis in. We have so much to talk about. We could do probably 3 shows right now, so we got to get started. There's so much, you know what all's been happening the last couple of weeks here in outdoors. So, Travis, you been doing okay? I know you've been busy.
Been a little busy. Yeah.
I know y'all have. I've been keeping up with y'all. So let's start. Okay, we got all kind of water rescues and all that stuff to talk about later. But let's start with the CWD. We talked about it. So just from your FWC standpoint, what's going on?
Yes, sir. So I know that's been big news for everybody, especially here in the Panhandle. So FWC, and we were just talking about this before the break, but just to let everyone know, you know, FWC takes it very seriously. It's a contagious disease that affects the brain and central nervous system of deer. It is fatal to deer. It's been found in over 30 states, all of Canada, even around the world. They've had this unfortunate disease pop up. And we've tested actually since 2002, and I say we as FWC, over 17,000 deer. Wow. Trying to stay on top of it to make sure that, hey, we don't have this in our state. And unfortunately, we had a female deer, a doe, test positive out of Holmes County. Mm-hmm. And that's the big news that probably everyone's heard of. That deer was collected like we do, and we will take roadkill deer. If we have a deer that's sick or acting abnormally, obviously we want to get that deer tested, you know, and get that sample. But basically she has tested positive. So now we're working on a comprehensive response plan to that positive test of CWD in Holmes County, and that's kind of where we're at with it. And you know, again, we take it very seriously, and part of that plan is going to be collecting more samples and seeing, hey, can we determine the origin of where this disease is started there in Holmes, and then prevent the spread. Yeah,
y'all had a game plan put up for years. I mean, y'all everybody knew it was inevitable, but so y'all's plan, and we'll talk more about that as it develops and all. I'm going to have I've contacted Steve Shea as a biologist, and he's going to come on first part of next week and talk about it too. So we've got it pretty well covered from an FWC standpoint. So let's go from the woods to the water. So
sure.
What's going on in the water?
Absolutely. So in the water, we've been super busy. I know everyone here, especially here in Bay County, actually across the Panhandle, we've had some really strong and severe storms come through middle of the day and in the afternoon. And when that happens, you know how that bay can turn from it'll look like glass out there to just really, really nasty. And our officers have been out there working hard, and we're able to help, as well as our other law enforcement agency partners. Bay County Sheriff's Office, United States Coast Guard, even the Florida Park Service has helped out. And I'll tell you this too, and we appreciate the help from the community. We've had some good Samaritans come out And sometimes before we can even get out there, they've went out and helped somebody either seek shelter, refuge, or get them out of that storm, out of the water during that really inclement weather. Yeah. So we appreciate the help, and yeah, we have a few that we want to highlight.
Stories. Well, let's start with this one. We got some rescue stories and all, but let's see. Let's start with this one right here. Tell us what.
Sure. So this was actually Father's Day. This was last Sunday, and this is. I just want to recognize Officer Zach Rice and Investigator Drew Nelson. They received a call out there for a pontoon boat in distress. This is one of these afternoon storms that popped up, and also a Good Samaritan vessel, the Captain's Lady, went out, and they had actually got to this pontoon boat. They were out there in the middle of this storm. Engine died, so they're dead in the water. They're calling for help, and the Captain's Lady was able to come alongside. Get them secured, and then FWC went out. Like I say, Officer Zach Rice and Officer Drew Nelson went out and got it was 10 people on board, 9 adults, one child,
wow.
And got them off the boat, got them back to safety, got them out of that storm. So good job by those guys.
A lot of people ask me this question, I don't know the answer. And all these, we had several, I know a bunch of them. Did everybody have life jackets on pretty well?
Well, they all,
These people did look like.
They did, yeah. At that point they did, and that's the thing, we talk about life jackets. So they have them on the boat. We recommend, hey, wear them while you're underway, and we've talked about that Type 5 PFD. Yeah. So yeah, by the time we got there, they had them on and make sure we got them on.
And that's the thing about it, I started rehearsing everything in my mind, rehashing what was going on. And in that situation, it may be in a pontoon boat as a group, you don't have them on as a group and all, but all of a sudden you see that weather, you tell everybody to put them on now because it starts going up.
That's a great point. Yeah, if you see it start getting bad, go ahead and do it before, because things can happen so quickly out there, and go ahead and have them on. So. But thankfully they were able to get them back, and then that other one they have there.
Well, this is a good story here, and I appreciate it. Well, you can go and start on. Let's see if we get that one done.
Sure. Okay? Yeah. So just want to recognize Lieutenant Steve Wicker and Officer Dennis Palmer here. They did a great job over Crooked Island Sound. Most of us know where that is. So this was a family from Georgia. It was a father, a mother, grandfather, grandmother, and two children. They had went from Panama City Beach offshore to Crooked Island, like a lot of us do, spent the day over there in the Sound, and when they went to come back that afternoon, that weather had got so bad and the seas were so rough that they were in 28-foot Grady White.
28-footer.
Yeah, so that's a big boat, but it was so rough that they could not get back. And I remember talking with a 14-year-old, he's like, I thought the boat was going to flip there coming out of the cut. And but the dad made a very wise decision and said, hey, we're going to go back in to this Sound and we're going to stay the night. Well, they hadn't planned on it, so they didn't have the food, the water, and stuff. But they didn't go out there in those conditions. And basically, they called FWC and Tyndall Security Forces also responded, and those two were able to go out. They got the mother, the grandmother, and the 2 children off, ferried them back, got them back to the main gate. They were able to get an Uber back to Panama City Beach, and then the father and the grandfather gave them some water and Powerade and stuff, and they were able to stay on the boat that night in the protected Sound.
What a good story. Wise decision.
Very wise decision, and good job by those officers, and again, good job by that dad making that decision, because so many times we see things and they don't always turn up, have a happy ending, and that one did. So
awesome. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Here with Officer Travis Bassford. A lot of good information we get every month from Travis. But now this is I like this one. It's a little video, and this is a little family time. So tell us what's going on here.
Oh yeah, so just trying to take some time, which is tough sometimes. We get so busy, but took Wyatt fishing a couple weeks ago actually, and this is just a video. He's catching a mangrove snapper here, and he brings the thing all the way in the boat. So
this is a 15-second video. So here we go. You tell him to jerk it now. Look.
Oh yeah, here he comes.
Get him in. Get him in. Boom. He got me in the boat, Dad. That's okay.
Yeah, he did. I was proud of him. So he did really good. And then we just spent the day together out there. And at that age, their attention span is only so long. So. After about 45 minutes or an hour, he was ready to go to the beach and go swimming. So that's what we did.
It's not funny to have their like that. Let's see. This one right here.
Oh yeah, no, and then that's just we were sitting there catching those little mangrove snapper, and then that guy showed up. So we we call him.
Yeah.
He got super excited about that, and then trying to get a photo when it's just me and him trying to set that camera up was a challenge, but he got super excited when we got that redfish. That fish was just a little over slot, so we turned him loose.
Oh, I bet he did. I bet he didn't want to let it go, did he?
No, he didn't, but we got him back in.
We got one more picture here. Let's, okay. This is down in where?
This is St. Mark's.
St. Mark's, okay.
And this is just was a great tournament put on by Jay there. I know you've had him send in stuff before to the show.
Yes.
And he just does great on promoting the outdoors conservation to all, all fishermen. And he just, he put on this tournament. So this was the Salvation Army Saltwater Slam. This was the third time they've done this tournament. He invited me to come down, and we had another officer actually go to the captain's meeting, talk about the rules. And they had a great turnout. They had some great fish come in. That's such a great fishery down there in St. Mark's. They had some beautiful trout, redfish, flounder, and that's what I was telling Coach. They brought in a 27.5-inch trout, which we know that's a good fish. And I don't know if that's the one he's holding there, but they had some flounder that were right there around 4 pounds. And then, of course, a lot of really nice redfish there in the upper slot. But great turnout. A lot of kids came out, a lot of families. And just wanted to, show that picture there of Jay, because he did a great job organizing that event. I think they had, I think it was over 80 people.
That's awesome.
In the tournament there.
We got to get him come on one morning and be on the show. He'll be good at it.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a little bit of a drive, but we'll be glad to have him. Now, let's see. We got everything. We got a case of the month coming up. Now, what else is going on the water? What are you seeing a lot of?
Well, I mean, that's the thing is what's going on. Last week we had recreational red snapper open for the private recreational anglers and for the state charter fleet. Now the rough weather has kind of put a damper on that, but there have been some people trying to go if it calms down a little bit. I know on Friday we checked some people coming in, and they went out Friday afternoon after that storm went through.
Yes.
They went out, were able to catch some fish. They didn't go out that far, but they did go out and catch some fish. So
I had one of the fishing guys post. He went out after the storm the other day, and that afternoon he had a heck of an afternoon, he said. They just
really?
Yes, it calmed down a little bit.
Yeah.
And they got out there, and the people were flexible. So, the calm after the storm, that we've always talked about how it stirs things up, and it bait fish around, and it's good to go. But again, you don't want to take a chance if it's still rough and lightning. The lightning is a big thing.
Yes.
Lightning has been scary.
Yeah, that lightning, and then that's the thing, when those storms pop up, the wind that goes with it just gets those seas so rough.
I don't think in all the years I've been here, I don't think I've ever seen that much commotion, for lack of a better word, in St. Andrew Bay with all these storms, with the boats turning over, all kind of rescues and all. I've never seen it that many. Yeah,
it's been a lot, and I know Friday we had unfortunately a fatal boating accident here in Bay County, and that was terrible. And then we had another one there at the city marina that flipped over. But again, I just want to thank, like I say, the community, Good Samaritan vessels coming out, helping. Law enforcement, whether it be Coast Guard, FWC, the Sheriff's Office, everybody kind of working together to try to help people, really. And
I was thinking, you got to know, if you have a boat, you sort of know your boat. You know the capabilities of your boat. But when you rent a boat, especially our tourists, they just don't know any better. I mean, they honestly don't. And my heart goes out to that family and all, because, if they'd known that's going to happen, it's just, you got to know your boat. And especially, again, on rentals and all, you got to, if you go, like, I have some friends going down the Crystal River, and they're going to, rent a boat, but they know the boats and all. But again, you got to be careful on them.
You do, and you're right. It is a different thing when you rent a boat, or if you're not familiar and stuff, and definitely don't want to Monday morning quarterback any of that. But the things that we talked about for National Safe Boating Week, I know Nicole has talked about it. All those things are super important. The safety gear, having a float plan. Knowing what to do in a case of an emergency before it happens. So that way, when that weather blows up or seas get rough or somebody goes over, you already know what to do.
Travis, that's what the first person I thought about when I was seeing all this stuff going on. The first person I thought about, Nicole, about how strong she is with safe boating and all.
Sure.
And how heartbreaking that's got to be to her. And you can't control any of that stuff going on. So I know she was out in the middle of it trying to help and all.
Yep, absolutely. And that's the thing. So. But other than that, and just like you said, boating safety, red snapper season, and then I've heard the inshore has been really good as well. The redfish bite has been outstanding for the past month. We've had some really big tidal movements. Even when that moon
Yeah.
was kind of not in the full phase, we were getting some really good tidal movement. So
I tell you, and I've talked to some, veterans and all. The biggest thing this spring and late spring and early summer has been the doggone wahoo. They've been catching a bunch. Have you seen many?
I've been checking a bunch, been hearing about a bunch, and not that far out.
I know it. It's really been interesting, and like I said, I've talked to some veterans out there. They said it hasn't been this good in a long time.
Yep, I've been seeing them on, because all the charters, the word's out, so they're dragging all the way back in, even if they're going offshore reef fishing. And I think everyone's excited too for the billfish coming up. Probably see some nice wahoo come in there.
I think we will. I think it'll be some real nice ones. We're going to take our final break and come back with our case of the month. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outrigger from Port St. Joe. They bring it to us every morning. It's 2:21 to 4:21 this morning, and this afternoon 2:45 to 4:45, and it may be good this afternoon. So check it out if you can. So as always, you don't always you never have a shortage of a case of the month. They always some bad guys or dumb guys out there. So here we go.
Absolutely. So. This one here, and we've got a good picture here. Just want to recognize officers Matt Cushing, Matt Land, and Chris Petty. This is over Pensacola area, but this is such an outstanding case. Just wanted to recognize these guys for their hard work and what they're doing to protect Florida's resources. So this was back a couple weekends ago, so June 10th. They were south of Perdido Key over there, and they boarded multiple vessels. They were actively fishing in Florida state waters. And just a little disclaimer, kind of give you a little background. This was, so June 10th, this was before our red snapper season opened.
Right.
So these were all closed season fish there, the red snapper, the main bulk of the fish in the picture. But they wrote a total of 9 misdemeanor citations, 6 infractions, and they end up seizing 28 red snapper and 1 gag grouper during that patrol. And as you can see,
check it out.
People were getting an early start there, and those guys did a great job out there, like I said, working hard. This is offshore patrol, so this is one of our offshore patrol vessels over there, and they just did a great job catching bad guys. And
I got a good picture there. When y'all board and they know better, what do they say? What are they thinking? What's their excuses? What do they say?
Well, some people have excuses, and then some people just know they're caught, and they just kind of go with it. So it depends, it depends. And this was from multiple boats, and that's the thing. Like I said, when people are taking fish early like this, then it takes away from people that are trying to do it legally or try to wait for the season to open. So,
all right, do they start throwing them overboard when they see y'all coming? You see some of that stuff on occasion?
We have had people do that, yes, sometimes. But usually that doesn't help things. That can actually get you additional charges. And the fish usually float right there by the boat. So, but yeah, sometimes they will. Most of the time they don't. And some of these fish, sometimes people will hide them from us, It's not just sitting right there with all the legal fish. So good job by these officers. Again, I just wanted to recognize their hard work, dedication, and commitment there to the mission. So, and again, it's been busy. We're going to still be out there during red snapper season. Just want to remind everybody, in years past, we've had some overlap there with red snapper and gag grouper, but gag's going through a rebuilding plan, and they were experiencing some overfishing according to the data that we have. And so right now, just red snapper open. If you catch a gag grouper, make sure you take care of that fish, vent that fish, and get him back. And then hopefully we'll get the season open later in the year, and you can go back and catch those fish. So, but I think people, I've been talking with fishermen, and during when triggerfish was open and amberjack, they were catching some of these snapper, so they have their spots marked, and they want to go out there now and harvest the fish legally. So. It's an exciting time of year, and like you said, that's the fish that, all across the Panhandle that people look forward to. People come from all over to catch, and it's special. So,
well, I got tickled at the sea quarters tournament I mentioned on the show about it. It's always been a kingfish tournament, and all of a sudden it's turned into a red snapper tournament this past weekend. But everybody's red snapper fishing, so it'd be interesting next year as to what people target according to the weather's all good. So
those are some big snapper they brought into that tournament.
I'm telling you, there's some nice snapper. Okay, we've got about a couple minutes left. We've covered all your stuff? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, listen, coming up later on, we got, of course, the Mexico Beach tournament's coming up here in a couple of weeks, and then that's going to be a big tournament. And then we have a scallop season coming in August and all. So y'all getting ready for that and everything coming
Yes,
up?
sir. Yep. And then, you know, the thing with that, we remind everyone the bag limits and all that, but we always talk about dive flags, how important that is during scallop season. So yeah, excited about that. We talked about the billfish coming here at the end of the month. It's nice to have that tournament back in town. And yeah, everyone's super excited. If we can just, hopefully the weather, if it'll calm down, people can get out and start enjoying things a little more. Because I'm gonna tell you, yeah, some of those storms have been unbelievable.
That's what I've talked about, and they've been like back to back. You know, usually a storm comes blowing in, then you have a week or two of nice, but I just can't get over the pattern of these.
I know it. It's been crazy.
All of a sudden, and here's what surprised me: I've gotten just addicted to my weather radar, which is good. I mean, I just read in fact, it's raining outside my house. Gail said it's raining. I said, wait, let me look at my radar and see if it is raining.
Right.
It's a joke with us, but how they break up sometimes, and then obviously, you know, there's like an 80% chance it's going to hit, then it'll break up. And then on the other end, it looks clear, and all of a sudden it just pops up.
I know. Yeah.
So you see it out there all the
They
time.
pop up and bubble, and yeah, like you said, sometimes later in the day when the heat goes down, they will break up. But yeah.
Y'all's weather radar on your boat, I mean, y'all pretty well got it up. I mean, it's
we do have some radar on our boat, and but we do the same thing on the phones. You know, we use the apps on the phones, and that's one thing I want to mention real quick. Matter of fact, on the phone, actually, I was talking with my neighbor the other day, and we recommend that Fish Rules app.
Yes.
But one thing on that, make sure you allow it to use your location. That's super important, because we were talking the other day, and he's like, yeah, about triggerfish. I said, no, I'm pretty sure trigger's closed. Well, his phone was actually set where it was over on the Atlantic side. Make sure you're allowing that location, because that's a great thing about that app. It goes off your location if you allow it to in your settings. So, you know, whether it be triggerfish, amberjack, snapper group, or whatever, allow it to go off your location. You always get the accurate seasons and size limits, bag limits, all those things.
Yeah, good point. Some people look at it, well, I'm not going to tell them my location where I'm catching these fish, but they're not talking about your exact location, just the area that you're in.
Right.
So clandestine when it comes to locations.
Yeah.
All right, buddy, we're going to we'll stay in touch, and I know you're good about sending me stuff during the month and all what's going on. So keep me posted.
We'll try to keep you posted best we can, and it's a busy time of year.
I know it is. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Miss Nicole, we say hello. Appreciate her.
Will do.
Folks, thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. We really appreciate your viewership. Do something good for someone else today. Enjoy a great outdoors and take care of our outdoors. And God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.